Welcome everyone, my name is Yi. I'm your host of Occupational Medicine Pearls podcast. Today we are describing creosote, a substance that sounds quite old-fashioned, but still showing up in modern workplaces more often than you expect. Let's have a look. So what exactly is creosote? Creosote isn't a single chemical. It is actually a mixture of several hundred chemicals created when wood or coal is heated to very high temperatures. There are two main types. Beechwood creosote, it is made from treating beech and other woods, and coal tar creosote, which is the one we see most commonly in workplaces. Coal tar creosote is thick, oily liquid in the physical state, whereas coal tar pitch, its close cousin, is a black sticky residue with a smoky odor. Both are byproducts of high-temperature coal processing, and both can release volatile compounds when heated. Chemically, creosote contains 6 major classes of compounds. We don't really need to know for the exam purposes, but it is just to have general idea. They are aromatic hydrocarbons, tar acid, phenolics, creosotes, tar bases, aromatic amines, and various sulfur and oxygen-containing heterosides. Some of which, especially phenolics, low molecular weight polyaromatic hydrocarbons, and certain heterosides, they tend to exist in the vapor state while others behave more like particulates. As a general rule, any chemical with lower number molecular weight will exist in vapor and heavier molecular weight be in the particulate state, but some of them can exist in both physical forms. We need to look at the occupations at risk. Workers may be exposed when they handle creosote-treated wood. Think about fences, bridges, railroad sleepers, or telephone poles. And when they're inspecting or maintaining these structures, or when they're applying coal tar creosote in farming or landscaping setting. When workers work with asphalt or other coal tar pitch materials. When they are working in natural gas, rubber, aluminum, iron, steel, or tire manufacturing. And there are some non-occupational sources too. Coal tar is used in medicinal treatment for psoriasis ointments, certain herbal remedies, and even it could contaminate shellfish. So if you're having a contaminated shellfish as your diet, you could be ingesting creosote. Workplace exposure standard has adopt the coal tar pitch volatiles, which is at the vapor state, and this is a generic chemical rather than specific to creosote. It is of 0.2 milligram per cubic meter. This is the level of non-occupational limit, because if you're in a workplace, the level would be almost going to be higher than 0.2. With the medical assessment before starting work, we will focus on if there is any symptoms of ill health, any past medical history, history of smoking, any history of photosensitivity or skin sensitization, as well as past employment history, because that's important. One thing I've noted here is in compare with the PAH, there is no focus on the urinary or bladder related symptoms or anything related to previous history of asthma, because these fumes can irritate people's lungs. Nonetheless, on the physical examination, we should be focusing on the respiratory system examination, skin, for any signs of dermatitis, irritation or photosensitivity, any skin cancers, and urology system. Biological marker we use similar to PAH, urinary 1-hydroxypyrin. It is the end product of the metabolism rather than the direct product from creosote. And we use as 0.5 micromole per mole creatine or 1 microgram per liter value. It reflects the total exposure, and it can't tell us whether it is inhaled or is it through exposed to the skin. If a worker has recent weight loss, and that may influence their level, and also if they had cigarette smoking and non-occupation exposure, that may affect the level as well. The other test you can use is urinary creosol, which may indicate creosol exposure, which is one of the creosote compounds. And spirometry should be considered, especially if there are fumes or dust exposure involved. And we need to consider when to remove workers from work So if workers develop symptoms consistent due to exposure, and if there is a clear causal relationship with the symptom and work task, and their urinary HB level exceeds 1 microgram per liter. After this, we will look at health effects. So creosote can affect the central nervous system and skin, respiratory system, and eyes. So a symptom affecting these body system will display if someone has acute toxicity. So they may include nausea, vomiting, and respiratory distress, cough, wheezing, and increased sensitivity to the sunlight, headaches, convulsion, fainting, and vertigo, and eye symptoms such as pupillary changes or cornea damage can happen. Skin symptom can be blistering, peeling, or skin irritation. Chronic long-term effects may include chronic respiratory irritation. So if someone had asthma-like symptom or chronic bronchitis-like symptom, we need to consider whether this is caused by creosote exposure. Skin cancer, particularly squamous cell cancer and actinic keratosis changes. There is also increased risk of other cancers through direct skin contact as well. Creosote is category 1B carcinogen, and history shows that there is increased risk of lip, skin, and scrotal cancer, especially when sunlight exposure is added. There is also possible increased risk of bladder cancer, multiple myeloma, and lung cancer. Some studies suggest that there is a potential increased risk of brain tumors and neuroblastoma in offspring of exposed male workers. So this is quite dangerous chemical. Alright, let's wrap it up. So this is creosote. It is a complex mixture and a wide range of exposure pathway from inhalation, skin contact, and a substance where skin and inhalation exposure both matters. Health monitorings play a key role to detect early changes of any harmful effects, and that can make a real difference to the worker's health. Thank you for joining in, and I hope this podcast is useful, and we will continue on another chemical next week. Bye.